Welcome to the Holistic Growth Podcast, navigating business and natural health and functional medicine, where we bring you insights and strategies to help grow your practice and amplify your impact. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Holistic Business Podcast, where we are coming to you live with our good friend, Michelle Rogers, who's better known in the industry as the Wellthy Woman. And I had the pleasure of meeting Michelle through our collaboration with her and our technology, the GetHealthy store. She's a clinical mentor, business strategist, and the creator of the concept, the Wellthy Woman movement. It's a paradigm shift on how health and wellness practitioners actually build sustainable, profitable practices online. And I have to say, I've had the opportunity to work with her a couple of times, do a few webinars, and even step into her group a little bit and watch what she does. And hands down, amazing. So I'm so glad you're here, Michelle. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Well, I have to ask the first question, how did you get into being a mentor and a business strategist to practitioners? Obviously, something had to happen in your own business.
Oh, big time. Yeah, when I first started, I graduated last year back in 2012, did the whole primary care insurance paradigm for like 4 years. And I remember sitting there just thinking like, I cannot imagine doing this for another 20 years, let alone another like 2 years, battling with, the insurance companies and reimbursements and just feeling so limited, feeling like my hands were tied behind my back. And so I was seeking out another option and ended up going into private practice, like cash-based practice. And so there was some improvement, right? There was a little bit more freedom, a little bit more flexibility, but there was still something missing, and I couldn't quite pinpoint it. And I remember there was this event that happened in the Pacific Northwest. We called it the snowpocalypse. It was like this unheard of snowstorm back, I think it was 2017. It must have been 2017. And I was sitting there and I had a calendar full of patients at the time. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna like do these Zoom calls, like these, like, and just see what happens. And that's really what opened my eyes. I remember sitting at my house, snowed in, and being able to communicate with my people and actually helping them and still being able to guide them and interpret labs and all of these things. And that's really what opened my eyes to the possibility of something different. And I think it was within just a few months, it was less than 6 months, I decided I'm going 100% online. And I did it. I don't recommend doing it the way that I did it because I like went cold turkey and was like, I'm out of here, and like referred out all my patients and like just dove straight in, with this naive thought that I'm just gonna hang my digital shingle and people are gonna come to me. And that couldn't have been further from the truth. So I ended up for many months working for rover.com. I don't know if you know them, but like
I can't
dog
remember
sitting.
what it is,
It's
but
like dog sitting, house
oh,
sitting. Like
yeah.
I was doing that to like pay the bills because I was
Yeah.
I was starting from scratch and I didn't know what I was doing. Back in 2018, no, I didn't know any practitioners who were working online. Like it was a foreign concept, right? This is pre-COVID. And so isn't it funny? We kind of talk about like pre and post COVID. Like it was
And it's like
like
this era of time we all
it's
try
like
to forget that it's so
it's
defining in our lives. We can't. So,
oh
yeah.
my goodness, like crazy. So yeah, pre-COVID, like people just weren't doing that. And so anywho, I went months and months, wasted, burned tons of money, and um and finally I was literally in the back. I had hired a mentor finally, like I think it was my third mentor coach that I hired that actually like I was able to have a breakthrough basically. And I was sitting in the backyard of a house that I was house sitting, dog sitting at. And that's when it happened. I booked two 10K clients back to back and my whole world changed. Like the realm of what was possible just like just shattered, just like blasted wide open. And I was like, what the actual F? Like this is this is insane. Okay. And it just shifted how I saw everything and what was available to me and what was available to the people that I wanted to work with and the type of care that I could provide and the service and the amount of presence and intention that I could bring to this because it wasn't just working with people in a clinical way. There was this depth, this truly holistic way of being able to show up because I was taken care of, right? Like I was taken care of financially and was able to show up from a place of overflow and abundance and true like giving and of service instead of coming from the typical place I see a lot of practitioners coming from of like urgency, scarcity, like of a lot of restriction, constraint, and all of this. So it just, yeah, that was kind of how I got into this. And then in 2019, I started having practitioners approaching me like, "What are you doing? Like, how are you doing this? Like, teach me your ways." And so I decided to open up a mentorship and I built it out week by week with my first cohort that was 6 practitioners who just signed up
Uh,
within 48 hours. And I was like, let's go. Like, let's see what happens here. And it's just grown from there. So
So have you shifted completely to mentorship 100% now?
I have, yeah. I kept my private practice open probably for another 2 years. And then I really fell in love with serving practitioners and helping them to break open their own realm of what was possible and seeing the ripple effect of that. And it also made me realize the extent of the impact that was available to me because it wasn't just me working with a certain number of clients. It was like I was working with practitioners and then they could work with more clients. And I was like, wow, this is like an, algorithmic like growth of impact. And I was like, this is insane. And I really truly believe, looking back at my path that I had this experience and went through being an actual in practice practitioner so that I had the clout, I had the experience, I had the being in the trenches of knowing that world inside and out, both the insurance, the cash base, the group models, like all of that stuff, the one-on-one, and then being able to translate that into the business world. And now I'm just like, I'm in love with the mentorship and coaching other practitioners.
Well, it's hugely needed in this space. The biggest thing that I notice, I mean, I'm kind of like on the same path, right? It's not that I'm 100% in business advising and marketing strategy, but people do ask me, what do you do? How do you do that? How did you get so many followers? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, I think I'm just a big mouth. It doesn't fit into your trifecta, but I'm like, I just say what I say, and people are like, oh, I like that. But I think the biggest thing that I see is these practitioners will go out and they hire these marketing agencies. And nothing against good marketing agencies. I mean, no disrespect, but I think sometimes they don't understand our channel and our voice and what people are actually looking for when we're marketing to them. I mean, there's a ton of information now, ton. So, I'd be interested in here to hear from you because I know there's practitioners listening that are not getting the results
Mm.
from whomever they hired to
Mm.
do the marketing for them. And, people always say, like, you got to build more funnels or, you got to do more posting or you need a tighter niche. Like you have too broad. What's really going on? What have you seen? What's beneath all that?
Yeah. Oh goodness. I love this topic and I'm really focusing on bringing this more to the forefront because after what is it now, 7 years in the online space, what I am like so firmly like that I believe in 100% is that every single thing works. You hear it all. The webinars, the free master classes, the groups, the memberships, the one-on-one, like all the things, posting on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, long form, short form, everything works, but it doesn't work for everyone. And so I think that the thing that I see most commonly happening is these practitioners and believe me, when we're going into the online space, when we have that entrepreneurial drive and mindset, we get so distracted because we're like, oh, I want to do that thing. Oh, wait, let me try that thing. Let me do that thing. And you try something for 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever. And it's not working as fast as you want it because you're so fast paced and you're like, you want the result and we want that dopamine hit. And then you move on to the next thing. And what ends up happening is they're just on this hamster wheel, just spinning their wheels over and over and over and over again. And they're not getting the results because what they're not doing is actually taking a moment to create some white space to reflect on what's actually in alignment with who I am and how I be and how I communicate and what I actually want and what my capacity is, right? Because like for you, Tracey, like what you're doing is perfectly,
Don't
you've
use me
figured it
as an
out.
example. I'm like a hot mess express over. I feel seen right now. I feel so seen. I'm like, how did you know? What are you saying? Who did you talk to? I'm calling Brittany right now. I feel so seen.
But it's like there's so many practitioners just throwing all these darts and wanting their hands in all these things and like I got to be on LinkedIn, I got to be on Instagram, I got to be on Facebook, I got to be doing the YouTube, but I got to be doing the podcast and I got to be doing XYZ whatever. And instead of just sitting and being like, "Whoa, actually, like for example, I'm more of an introverted practitioner. I actually really love expressing myself through writing." Okay, maybe Substack is your method of choice. Like maybe that's your long form content where or a blog or something where you can actually sit and like express yourself and get your message across that way. And then figuring out how do I reverse engineer that to get people to my Substack, right? Like there's parts of like that we need to take into account and instead of just copying and pasting someone else's blueprint or template, right? Like I provide my practitioners with blueprints, with templates, because I know for myself, it's really helpful to see a starting point. Like sometimes
Yeah,
the hardest part is having that blank slate of like, okay, but what do I do first? And so sometimes having that template, having that blueprint is like the starting point. It's the catalyst. It's the spark that you need to get going. But once you start moving, once you start taking action, you need to start tapping into and reflecting on like, is this actually serving me in the best way so that I can show up in the best way for my clients? Because if we bypass that, it's just chaos and nothing happens. I don't know
yeah,
if you notice that too with practitioners.
totally. And even, as a practitioner myself, there's so many things that are going on around us that people want you to be an expert on. That's the thing I
Mm.
get into. I took some advice from Joy Houston last year. She's a friend of mine. I don't know if you know Joy Houston.
Mm-mm.
She's a great person. She does a lot of kind of already done for you funnels, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we just talked one day and she said, focus on one thing for one day.
Yes. Yes.
Like, all right. So I did. And I have to tell everybody here that it grew my business 100%. 100%. Like,
I'm
and
so not
it
surprised. I love
right.
that. Yes.
Because I just focused, no, I talked about other things, but I got on this topic. It was always overseeing. Like if I talked about detox, I talked about this topic. If I talked about gut health, I talked about this topic. Like I always brought it in. So people
Yes.
all of a sudden were messaging me, texting me because they thought I was the expert. And not that I'm not the
Yes.
expert, it was legit, but no one knew that because I never talked about it. So I think that's important is focus. And you're right. I mean, I think every practitioner has a little bit of ADHD. I think that's what makes us entrepreneurial, right?
Yes.
There's
And
not
creative and
everybody's an
innovative.
That's right. Let's just use other words besides that. But to be perfectly honest, not everybody's an entrepreneur, but we're expected to be. We go to these schools,
Hmm.
we graduate, and all of a sudden they're like, here you go, here's the keys to your own place. Good luck. Where every other profession gets to graduate and go work for somebody. Like we don't have that.
Yes.
We have to go do our own
Yes.
thing. So I think that expectation needs to be set and they need the next level to go to in order to, how do I
Hmm.
establish my business? What do I do? How do I go to market? What is my niche? What is
Hmm.
this thing about me? And I think that's where you
Hmm.
really come in with this trifecta framework that you talk about. And you talk
Hmm.
about three elements that kind of separate these practitioners from being like booked out from those
Hmm.
that are chasing clients, right?
Hmm.
And I'd like to get into that a little bit, just about this
Hmm.
concept. So, which part of this trifecta, if you could give us a high level, what is it? And then tell me,
Hmm.
which part do most healthcare professionals overlook?
Yeah, so the trifecta is basically this three-pronged framework that I've observed over the past several years that is needed for the success of practitioners who actually build profitable online businesses. And that's clinical skills, which a lot of us are equipped with as we graduate, business skills, which a lot of us are not. I don't know about you, but the business education inside of our, blessed past year, thank you for my whatever education, and the business side of things was a complete disaster. And then we've got personal alignment, which is so the clinical skills, those get your results. That keeps people in your sort of what I call a client ecosystem, right? Like this whole like
Yeah.
referral, like retaining, like upselling, cross-selling, all of those beautiful things. But the business skills is what helps to get you visible. So that's where we need to bring in the marketing. We need to bring in the social media. And a lot of practitioners I know are so anti social media when I'm just sitting there like, this is a free platform for you to like
For
actually speak
now.
to, yeah, for now, that is there for you to attract your dream client. Like your person is sitting there looking for you every single day. And if you're not showing up and being that beacon of light, they are just not going to find you. And so there's the business skills. And little side note, I know that so many practitioners try and outsource copywriting, marketing, social media, ads. They're trying to do all of these things before they've even found their voice and even like who they want to be working with and the offer that they have available and all of this, which is a lot of times, I mean, I'm speaking from experience. I burned so much money trying to use ads agencies and getting no
Yeah.
results because it was just like you were saying, it's just like they don't, I think maybe it was before we press record. I can't remember now, but like they don't get your voice. They don't get our industry. They don't get how to speak and create positioning and messaging in a way that really resonates with health consumers, which is who we're trying to reach. Um, and then there's the personal alignment piece. And this is the piece that makes you magnetic. This is the piece that I've been talking about where it's like you really need to check in with yourself. Like, am I working with people that I actually want to work with instead of taking anybody with a pulse? Like, when's the last time you asked yourself that? Are you just like working with anybody who shows up on your discovery calls and potentially bringing in people who are going to be draining your time, energy, resource, whatever? And limiting your capacity to actually show up for the people who are an energetic match for you. Are you aligned with your offers? Are you paying attention to your boundaries, your ways of communicating? Are you, showing up with the modalities that really set your heart on fire? Like, are you integrating how you want to be working with people, or are you just doing something someone else told you to do and it feels robotic or empty or whatever? And then, of course, like with all of this personal alignment, it's not just like the communication, the clients, the offers, but it's also just how are you showing up? Right? Like, are you actually showing up in a way that is true to you, or are you abandoning yourself and kind of showing up with this facade of like, I need to be super professional, I need to have my white coat on or whatever to like, you know, speak in a certain way. Like, I don't want to, I'm just going to like tiptoe around certain things and say the nice thing. Or are you actually showing up and speaking your truth? Because part of that personal alignment is also being polarizing in how you're showing up. And polarization does not mean like that you are insulting people or like, dropping F bombs or like that's not polarization. Polarization is just you owning your, say, philosophy or your approach or your worldview or whatever that is that you're bringing to the table. And that is what really sort of instantly resonates and creates magnetism, right? When we think about magnetism, it is inherently polarizing. When you have a positive magnet, it repels. When you have a negative, it repels. But when you have this, like, you need to have both ends, I guess is what I'm saying. You need to have this like attraction and repulsion. You need to repel the people who are
Mhm.
not a good fit for you. And that's a gift. Like that is great. When I get unsubscribers on my email list, I am like, yes, thank you. I'm so glad I said something that made this very clear for you.
Right,
Like
exactly. And I think that's a hard one for practitioners because,
yes.
when they first start out, I don't know what Bastyr taught you, but a lot of the education I hear get trickled down is go help your friends and family and just do it for free to get practice. And I'm like, right there,
Oh
you
my gosh,
crucified
worse,
yourself. It's the
worse advice.
I'm like, no free, never. I don't care if you charge them $10, but charge them. One, it puts
Yes.
accountability on them and they puts value
Yes.
into the time, right? Because
Yes.
how many free supplements do you get, Michelle? How
Oh
many
my
things do
God.
people send to you? Where are they?
Oh,
In your
yeah, in the
belly? No, they're
trash.
not. They're in the right. Or they're on your
Or
shelf.
it's
You
collecting
never
dust.
open them because you didn't buy that. Like you're just like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'm
Exactly.
like, beautiful packaging. Boom.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think
Pricing's part of personal alignment too. I mean,
that's right.
charging what you should be charging, right? Like not having that resentment because how do you show up for your client calls when you're resenting them because you haven't charged what you know the value is that you're providing, the value of facilitating that transformation, right? Like I don't like associating like, oh, you should charge what you're worth. Like you're worth, like that's not part of this. Like we're
Right.
not talking about worth and pricing, but more so, are you charging in alignment with the value that you're providing for the transformation that you're facilitating? That's a big part of personal alignment. I'm glad you brought that up.
It is. And I think, practitioners, again, in our space, don't like to charge. They're
No.
always, well, what do you charge? And what the advice is?
Yes.
What does the practitioner down the street charge? You should charge close to that, market value. I'm like,
Oh,
market value?
good
What if
grief.
they suck? Like, what if nobody's
Exactly.
getting better and you want me to charge what Joe Schmo down the street charges that nobody likes? So this is really important I just want practitioners to really tune in on this part, because what I always told people that I helped was not everybody's your audience, but there's no
Correct.
such thing as bad publicity. So if you say something, it gets shared or you get the trolls on your page and they're hacking at you, that's okay. Jump my algorithms, baby.
Exactly.
I don't care. Like you can hate me. You'll never meet me in your life. You can hate me online all you want, but this makes my algorithm go up. So
Exactly.
calm
I
down.
actually, it's so funny you say that because literally that's my response whenever there's like a troll who pops up or whatever. I'm like, thanks so much for boosting the algorithm.
I know. They get so mad too. They do. They're like, I'm not
They
boosting
hate
your
it. Like, ugh.
know that I hate you. I'm putting an angry face instead of a like. I'm like, oh, not an angry
Ooh.
face. Stop that. But that's one, and the other one is charge what your time is worth. And in that
Yes.
time, what are you doing? You're doing testing, consulting, you're designing the program after the
Yes.
appointment most of the time. You
Exactly.
got to put that whole consideration in. And I think the hardest part for practitioners is not that they don't understand their value, it's justifying it to the customer, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
people
Or
will come
feeling
up.
like they have to justify it. It's like,
Exactly, exactly. And I always tell them, I'm like, you don't have to tell people why you want
yeah.
something. In life, just mark that statement down. If you
Yes.
want to move to Mexico, you can. And you
Yeah.
don't have to explain it to anybody at all. Somebody might ask, and you could say, I don't know, just felt like the right time. And that's
Yeah.
enough. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole part of our not looking like we're selling, not look like we're, charging. I remember during the time that we all try to forget, I was online and people were asking me all kinds of questions, right? And there was another guy online, they were asking questions, and he kept pointing to me saying, see, she won't give you free information, but I will, but I will, but I will. Okay.
Oh my
So people all
goodness.
went over there for the free information, and then they came and booked an appointment with me, and we're like, is he right? It's like, he was okay, but not really. Let me show you with data and testing
Yes.
and
Yes.
protocols what's possible.
I always say people invest in what they value, period.
Mhm.
Period.
And I think they do value boundaries. Like,
Mm-hmm.
text me on the side, message me on the side. I hired my weakness at one point, which was, just the things that like calling people back and getting people scheduled. And it was part of my process that I wasn't aligning with, right? It was hindering me. And so I hired my weakness and brought in my assistant, and she's been a game changer for me because all I have to say is, here's my assistant's email. Please message her. That's it. Then
It's
they
my
ask me another
favorite thing.
question. I don't answer them. Like,
Yeah.
once you get the message, my assistant, we're done.
Yep.
Like, that's the line in the sand. Not that I'm trying to be mean, but I mean, I get 100 messages a week on all kinds of
Mm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what do you feed
Mm-hmm.
your chickens? I'm like, chicken food. I don't, it's like, Just go get an organic chicken feed. I don't know what to tell you, dude. I'm not like researching chicken food. That's my husband's job. So it's important for people to
Here's
hear.
his email.
That's right. I'm like EP. No, I'm just kidding. So which part of the trifecta do you think most health professionals overlook? Where's the biggest offense?
The alignment, 100% the alignment. It's like you can learn the clinical skills, you can learn the business skills, but the alignment takes real intention. It takes that white space, it takes that reflection to really tap in. And I think that so many practitioners, especially the ones in my space, they want to move so fast. They just want to go like, I want the results like yesterday. I don't have time for alignment. Like, just tell me what to do. Give me the things. What steps do I need to take? And it's like, I could give you the exact breakdown line by line of everything that I've done, that I've seen work, da da da, da, and it might not work for you because guess what? It might not be in alignment with who you are and how you be and how you operate in the world. Like it just might not. And that's why I love working with like individual practitioners because we get to tease out what is your formula? Like, what is the thing that works best for you and your system, your nervous system, the way your brain works, the way you love to map out your day, right? One of the things that I ended up doing when I started bringing in this alignment piece for me is like, when do I want to start my day? Oh, I
Yep.
don't want to start my calls until 11 a.m. That's when I'm on. Like before that, I want to be going to the gym. I want to be sipping my coffee. I want to be chilling out, maybe meditating, listening to a train. Like that's my time in the morning. And so I formulated my days to be like that and operate that. Another thing I did for more alignment, I needed to create almost like force myself to have white space. So what did I do? I canceled every call there, like the last week of the month, zero obligatory calls. Like that's just the way I wanted to operate. And I've been doing that for years now. And I love it because it creates this spaciousness so that I can tap back into my creativity. I have time for reflection. What worked this month? What didn't work? And it's because of that boundary that I'm so much more productive, right? It seems like counterintuitive, like, oh, you're going to take a week off. Oh my gosh, you're not going to get as much done or make as much money or whatever. It's like, no, like that actually enhanced every aspect of my business and the way that I show up.
Yep. No, I love that. And I've heard somebody say, take time to work on your
Mm.
business, not just in your business.
Yes.
No. And it's important because we don't let ourselves have creativity. Sometimes, me personally, I have to get sick where I'm like,
Ah.
oh, I'm sick of my bed and I can't do anything else except sit here and think about great things I need to do and write them down.
No, Tracy, no.
I know. That doesn't happen anymore. But it is true. Like I set up my life and I taught practitioners this too. I was like, I had a vision in my head of what I wanted my career to move into. I wanted to work from home so that I was always available to my kids and I could see them and I love my dogs and I just want to be in my house. I don't want this overhead and have to go to a job and fight traffic. Like I didn't want it. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to start my day till 10 o'clock in the morning. Like
Yes.
those were just two criteria and I made it possible. So every job
Hmm.
that I've ever worked from that point forward, and I don't start my day till 10. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I always end up getting like West Coast contracts, which work out great for me because I'm East Coast and they're not
So
even up.
nice.
Like sometimes I work till 12, but then they
So
expect me
good.
to be there till like 6. I'm like, no, no, I'm done at 5, yo.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, East Coast time. Got to go to basketball because, we do have lives. I think the hardest thing, if you can just speak to this a little bit,
Mm.
is when a practitioner is just starting, right? And you kind of said you did this. You were walking dogs and dog sitting and house sitting and doing these things. You had this other job
Yeah.
while you did this. Talk
Hmm.
about the transition 100% into
Mm.
going into this concept of like, hey, I'm 100% over here and I can quit all this. Like,
Hmm.
what does that, what should that look like for a practitioner? I know you can't
Mm.
give me like, here's a perfect thing, but give me like a,
Yeah.
yeah, how should you migrate? When do you know that it's 100%?
Yeah, I now like how I work with practitioners, I we kind of decide what looks best as far as a runway of the transition. And for some practitioners, it's 90 days. For others, it might be 6 months. And that's typically the runway that feels best, especially when someone's like, I know this is the transition. Some of them have to decredential from insurance panels, or they want to drop their
Mhm.
license, or there's those nuances as well. But typically, with that type of runway, they can set a date, they can start sharing. I really encourage practitioners to start sharing their story, their perspective, their philosophy with their current patient base, and actually educate them around why, what is this transition. Bring them into your world a little bit, because if you're just like, oh, just on this date I'm transitioning to this, like, see you later, whatever, there's an abruptness, and I think it can come off as they can take it kind of personal, like, wait, like,
Right.
you're my person, like, what is going on, right? Like, feeling kind of offended. And
Yeah.
instead, when you start to express the and educate them around the transition, why you're doing it, how it's going to better serve them, educate them maybe around the insurance paradigm, maybe educate them around how this method doesn't work for you anymore. And this is why. When you bring them behind the scenes of this transition, I've found it to be so incredibly beneficial for both the practitioner and their patient base, because a lot of times those patients actually end up coming with them into the online space because they're like, this makes so much sense. You're giving me permission to pivot in my own life. Like, there's all of these really beautiful things that happen, and that's true for any sort of hard conversation. I would say this counts as like a hard conversation, right? Is
Yeah.
like making this transition. And
Yeah.
so that's usually how I like it. And just bringing them along on that journey and inviting them, and yeah, allowing them to kind of choose like whether or not they're sticking with you or not. Obviously, if you're a practitioner, giving them referrals if that's what they want, things of that nature. But that's kind of how I recommend things going. But I will also say I would say the most important part about that is really setting that date. Because if you don't set that hard and fast date, then you're constantly going to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And when you are 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you do not make the progress that you want. And then it's a year later and you're still like trying to juggle this thing that doesn't feel good. It's not in alignment. And you can feel that dissonance in every aspect of your life. And so
Yeah.
having that really clear boundary, which is what it is, it's this line in the sand, helps you to progress towards that and take the leap.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love, how you've said set a date because it's true. If you don't, you'll just hang on to what's comfortable.
Exactly.
And so you never
Exactly.
make any progress at all.
Yep. And
So
it's a decision, right? Like, it's like a lot of, oh, I just need to wait until I feel ready. Like, if you're going to wait until you feel ready, it's literally never going to come. The ready is
yeah,
not a feeling, it's a decision. And so it's really owning that.
I love that. So that should be a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. Perfect. I mean, apply that to everything. I love
Yes.
quotes that you can just apply it to everything in your life. It just really makes
Yes.
sense. So,
Yes.
can you give us like a real example of a practitioner? No names, obviously, I know,
Mhm.
but who shifted just one piece of this trifecta and saw immediate change or just success?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say there's one practitioner, she just graduated from the Wealth Academy, and her background's as a naturopathic doctor. And she knew she wanted to come into the online space, but there was a part of her that she had not been bringing to the table. And it was a very sort of energetic spiritual side to her. Like, she has very strong intuition. She wanted to bring in some, how would I say, like, other modalities, like more
Mhm.
energetic modalities, things like you could say like human design or things like that she wanted to bring into the mix, that she
The
didn't
stuff that
feel,
people look out and say, "What is this?"
what is
Right?
this hokey pokey
Yeah,
woo
right,
woo
right.
whatever
Gotcha.
stuff.
Mhm.
But there was a strong conviction in her that was like, this is part of who I am. And by making the decision to move into the online space, She has integrated that now, and she has integrated the word like oracle into her realm of how she's speaking about her business. And she has already signed two high ticket clients who now are like they resonate with that, right? Like they resonate with her as her whole self showing up.
Yeah, I
Whereas
get
before there was like this struggle or this like
you.
dissonance because she wasn't owning it. She didn't have the courage to really bring that to the table. But now that she's really owning it and stepping forward with this, with everything that she is, the modalities that she wants, there's an immediate resonance with the right people. So that would
Yeah.
be like one, and that's happened more than once throughout the several years that I've been working with practitioners. Some practitioners, I would say the majority of practitioners that I end up working with do end up dropping their license. Some will create hybrid
Yeah.
practices, but I would say the majority end up dropping their license because they're really tapping into what is that alignment? What is that? Oh, actually I don't want to be a part of that paradigm anymore. That's not a part of who I am or how I want to operate. I want to do things differently. And so they
Yeah.
bring all of their gifts into this new space, into this new realm, and they really start to hone this new sort of unique skill set, this unique gift set that they have. And that is what sets them apart and really enhances the magnetism that they experience in the online space.
It's interesting. So, do you believe that practitioners should have a high ticket item, or explain to me, like, there's so many, there's individual consults, there's concierge models, there's monthly fees,
Mhm.
there's these, $10, $20,000 package. No judgment on any of it. I'm sure it's all exactly what that, well, maybe not exactly what they should be doing, because maybe they're not aligned. But then being, like, what do you think is the best offer?
Yeah, to start with, I do usually recommend that practitioners create a high ticket offer. And usually that's a comprehensive program. In my program, I teach them functional labs too, so a lot of times they integrate that into their programs. Not everybody does. But from my experience, it's so much easier to enroll, two, three, five clients that are at the high ticket mark than trying to enroll 15, 20, 30, 100 people in low ticket
Yeah.
unless you already have an engaged audience. If you've been working on your audience, they're very engaged, they're very responsive to your posts and your emails, and you just know that you've got a very highly engaged audience, then you might be set up to start with like a group program or a membership or something like of that. I think that that's fantastic. But if you're not, if you've got more of a cold audience, you're just starting your online presence, high ticket, from my experience, has been the way to go every single time. It's just a better cash injection, helps to boost your experience, your confidence, your messaging. You get to refine your process. Like it's just a really, I think, a much easier way. And
Mhm.
what's weird is that it takes the same amount of trust for someone to buy a $50 product versus a $5,000 product. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's
Commitment.
crazy. Yeah.
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 And
It's wild.
commitment. So I know
Hmm.
that you recently kind of established a Get Healthy store for yourself and for your practitioners. And I just want to get into maybe your thoughts on what do you think of having an offer like that in conjunction with what you're doing or what you're teaching your clients to do? Obviously this is kind of new to you as well, and which is great. I mean, product sales are at the end of the day something that everybody needs and what we should be doing. Give me your thoughts on how it's kind of incorporated into your business.
Yeah, I think a Get Healthy store is such a smart choice because I've shared this with my practitioners, but we're already sharing products that we love, supplements that we love, and a lot of times we're not getting any kickback, or we're having to manage these affiliate links, or your clients are having to go to all these different places. And with a Get Healthy store, it's all in one, and so it's this beautiful way to create, I think, authority, positioning, convenience, like all in one for your clients. And so it's such a great way to have an additional stream of revenue that doesn't require you to show up face to face and continue this like trading time for dollars model. Like you
Yeah.
actually get to create revenue, boost your revenue while you're having your weekend or a trip away or sleeping or whatever. It's just it for me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, simple addition to any online practice because of the ease of use. The quality of the products that are available is insane. I keep adding, after we had our last call, Tracy, I started adding more things to my store. I was like, wait, what? I don't have this in my store. Like, like just added all of these things.
We're
But
looking at each
also,
other's store like, what do you
yeah,
have?
what do you have? Yeah. But also just something that I'm kind of a stickler about too, I guess, is like the aesthetic. And I think it's just a beautiful, like the way that the store looks, the way that it's presented, the way that it's organized. It makes it so professional and clean and easy to use that I don't know why any practitioner wouldn't use that. It's just
Yeah.
like it's like rather than like I don't know, sending someone to your Amazon store, like that just doesn't it's kind of like I don't know,
Well,
tacky.
sending your customer to Amazon, right? It's sending your
Right.
customer to somebody else that is not you
Exactly.
to do a part of your business that's probably the most intimate part. Besides
Yes.
consultation, what you recommend for somebody comes from a place of first, aligning with the brand and,
Mm-hmm.
actually maybe using those products yourself or
Mm-hmm.
knowing that they work. And so you're building this protocol to help somebody, and then you're just like, just go over here. And I think that was a
Yeah.
problem in our industry. And so when they're sending them to your store now,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this is Michelle's store. This looks like her. It's her brand. She picked all these products, hand selected. And so they know
Yes.
there's a trust there automatically. Plus, for
Yes.
me, it got rid of like 10,000 affiliate links. And I was like, if I have to sign up for one more affiliate link to get commission, I'm going to go crazy because I don't want to buy product and carry it. I just
Yeah. No. Mm-mm. No, 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 no.
like, girl, if I got to ship you product, you're not going to make it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's
Nice enough.
also really convenient. Because I get a lot of people just kind of randomly reaching out, like, "Oh, what kind of blue blockers do you like, or whatever?" And I'll just send to my store now. I'll be like, "If it's in the store, it's good." Like,
Right,
it's like
exactly. Like
I've
I
approved
handpicked
all of these
everything.
things. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like
exactly.
so easy.
It is. And then you can see your customers in there if they need help with their, if they don't get something from a third party, I don't know about it. It's not like I'm getting shipping details on their behalf. They go to that place, order it, they get all the information, they got to take care of
Hmm.
it. With our stores, if something happens to the shipment, like we have a customer service, it's behind the scenes for you, the practitioner, and for them to reach out and say, "Hey, I can't find it." You're in the loop. They let you know. Like we really
So
try to serve both
easy.
sides, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we
And just
really,
having that one contact, I mean, it just makes everything feel so cohesive. And I think there's a sense of like comfort and safety and
Mhm.
reassurance. And like there's all of those aspects which you really can't put a price tag on. Like those are things that really I think have people coming back and like repurchasing or filling their cart up more or whatever because they're
Right.
like, I know that this purchase is like secure in a sense rather than like maybe these reviews are fake or maybe someone
Hey,
paid for these
why?
like, right like
Right.
it's like no
So,
like
and
but
the
these are
other
the
thing
things.
is, I think they love to support you. You know what I mean? Like, I'll
Mm-hmm.
have someone
Mm-hmm.
reach out to me and they'll be like, "Hey, do you have a store? I need to get this. I want to know what you like." And I'm like, "I actually do." And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, I'd love to support you if you can give me some advice." More
Yes.
inclined to give them advice, to be like,
Yes.
"Yeah, sure thing. What's going on? How can I help you?" Versus somebody sending me, which pet peeve, and it happens so much. And I think people don't realize the ethics part of what they're doing, but they'll
Mm.
send me a product that they didn't buy from me. And they'll say, "Hey, I just got this. Can you tell me how to take it?"
Ugh,
Oh, like
no.
A, I don't know that product. B, I don't know what's wrong with you, and I don't know what I should help you with here. Like, I don't know
See,
what the
I don't know if the actual product is inside that bottle because I don't know where you got that from.
exactly.
Like,
We have a picture from a client that bought a product off of a big online place starting with an A and
oh.
Brian, Mom. And anyway, the bottle came, and because they're not certified sellers over there, the bottle had all different colored pills, and they sent a picture.
Oh yeah.
That is, obviously dangerous. I mean, you don't know what's in.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the brands on Amazon, if it's not the brand itself, they're actually trying to shut that seller down
Yeah.
because it has to be the brand. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that people in the big, I mean, consumer world after COVID just went crazy on.
Crazy.
And, Amazon grew like 200% March of 2020. That was like the largest growth that they had in supplement sales. It was the largest supplement sales in the history of Amazon was the March of 2020. So it does show you that it's needed, that people are
Mm-hmm.
looking for good sources because now you got educated clients now. Like
Mm-hmm.
they come in and they're like with labels, they're like, okay, this is not methylfolate. Like this
Yeah.
has folic acid. And I'm like, yeah, that belongs in the bin of shame. Like put that over here in the bin of shame. We're not going to use that, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think as educated consumers, they appreciate when they go to your store and they see the products that you selected that are
Mm-hmm.
quality, because that's what we onboard to our catalog at Get Healthy are brand specific that have the C of A's, that have the good manufacturing policies, that follow the guidelines that we know are
Mm-hmm.
going to be safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so important. Yeah.
Well, I truly enjoy working with you and all of the things that you've brought to the table. Appreciate everything you're doing for our industry. It's really needed. If there's
Thank
anything you
you.
want to leave our practitioners with, what words of encouragement would you tell them?
Mm. I would say I think kind of going back to what we said around ready's not a feeling, it's a decision. Like if you've been on the fence about getting into the online space, if you feel this internal pull or this, even if just like a curiosity, like I cannot tell you what is available to you. Like it is beyond anything. Like it is so, and I know you've gone online too, Tracy, right? It's just like it's a whole
100%.
new world and I didn't even know what I was getting into. You know, there was a lot of fear and there's going to be a lot of fear, right? Like fear is inherent in anything that we're doing outside of our comfort zone and outside of our comfort zone is inherently uncomfortable, right? So there's a part of really needing to be ready, prepared, willing to experience that discomfort, and just knowing that that's part of growth and that is actually part of transitioning you away from maybe what's no longer serving you, right? Like if you're already feeling unfulfilled, you're feeling kind of boxed in, you're feeling like your hands are tied behind your back or whatever in your practice, there's something else available to you. So I just encourage you that there is a realm of possibility that is available for you to explore. And I encourage you to take that leap if that's what you're feeling drawn to do. There's, yeah, so many resources.
Awesome. Well, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, website, Instagram, wealthywoman.co. So WELLTHYWOMAN.co. Website, Instagram, all the things. That's where I'm
I'll
at. So yeah, I
go
would love to see you
follow,
guys.
send you a message.
Yeah.
Guys, we will make all of her links, excuse me, available in the show notes so that you can easily click on those. But if not, Wealthy Woman is spelled like well, Well. So,
Yes.
guys, it's been such a pleasure to have you here, Michelle. Thank you. I hope you'll come back and teach us more. For
Thank you.
anybody listening, please reach out to Michelle on all the channels and give her a like and a follow. Also, if you're a practitioner but you don't have a Get Healthy store, you can find in the show notes that easy link for a free demo. And we would invite you in just to find out more about our technology and how it can help enhance your business and give you the freedom that you're looking for through revenue that generates while you sleep or while you don't work till 10 or 11, as we've done.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, Tracy. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with a practitioner who could use this advice. Thanks for being here.